Alright. So two things. Two things I actually want to talk about today. First one, and we'll make this easy since I already went through the entire damn story. And supposedly my mic was muted. Supposedly. So we'll take the first topic and we'll cut it short since we already. Am I audible now? Okay, cool. So, because I wasted so much time on talking about the first subject and I was muted, we'll just make it a quick statement. All right. So, based off everything that happened yesterday, I still don't know if I bruised my vocal cords or if I pulled a muscle in my neck, but it fucking hurts. So, a little suggestion to all of you that decide to have animals, right? The whole purpose of animals is to see if you're ready to have children. If you and your significant other are thinking about having children, the first thing that is suggested to you is to get a dog. Because cats are more independent, so you don't really need to take care of them like a baby. Dogs you do. If you're not willing to treat your animal like your very own child, you should not have an animal. And you should probably not have a child either. Case in point, I have new neighbors, right? And for the last 2 days, they do not close up their house. They do not do anything. And their two little miniature pit bulls have been getting out and picking fights with everybody all across the neighborhood. I personally am insulted by this. As a person who has pit bulls, who knows the appropriate way to keep both them safe and to keep me safe. Notice I didn't say to keep you safe. You are not my priority. My animals are like my children. They are my priority. All of you misconstrue what a pit bull really is because of abusive patterns toward them. They are not bad animals. There's only bad owners. So, if you don't give a shit enough to keep your dog safe and keep them inside where it's nice and cool instead of out in the 100-degree weather, you should probably be looked at. I know the court ain't gonna care because they don't see animals as a living being. I mean, you can barely get a fine for killing one of them. But this is true. If you cannot responsibly handle your animals, you shouldn't have children. Period. End of story. That's the first subject. Second subject. I know it's orange juice, but toast. I know everybody's sad about Dolly Parton, but I woke up and found out that one of my favorite actors in my entire life just died this morning. Hi guys. I grew up with Tim Curry actively a part, not physically, but actively a part of my life. I can still remember, like, Legend, Clue, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, these are all things I grew up with. All of them. Like, from the time I can remember in the early 80s till now. Like, he was, like, that kind of a part of my childhood. And the last month, guys, the last month has been surreal, to say the least. Between losing dad, and I think I've bitched about it enough on here, right? You guys know how I feel about that. But it's not like it's not like your world is falling apart. Like, oh my god, you lost your dad, and then everything else just seems to be going out of whack. It's nothing like that. It's like, do you guys know the phrase, like, you can never go home again? Right? That's really what it feels like. It feels like waking up from a daydream, almost. Like, none of this is real. It doesn't... I mean, then, of course, I haven't been able to grieve yet. At all. So, everybody's like, well, you're probably still just in shock. Well, yeah, duh. I'm not stupid, and I know what's going on, but it's still... like... it's like Maester Aemon says. Kill the boy and let the man be born. I think there's a certain level of maturity in all of us that we cannot broach, we cannot touch, we cannot access until something like that has happened. Because it's one thing, right? It's one thing to lose friends. It's one thing to lose family members. But to lose one of the two people that literally were like giants, gods to you as a child, suddenly seeing them frail and leave. It's a shock like any other. And even though everybody's going to go through it at some point, it really is something that I wouldn't wish on anybody. And I was that one that chose to stay and help him fight. There's you know that phrase, like, the time to put childish things away, right? Well, I think there are moments in all of our lives, right, where we don't even have to be told to do that, just simply because of the situation that we go through. I think something inside us, at some point through the experience, kind of switches lanes. Not really in about face, but just like, let's move to the next lane over, right? Let's go a little bit slower. We don't need to be flying down the highway, all that stuff. I think it's something that we naturally do. And I think the older generations never understood that. Because they were told exactly what they tell us. They were told. It's nothing new. They're just copying and pasting. Hence my theory why everyone's 5. Because no one truly grows up. They just copy and paste. What worked for dad? What worked for mom? What worked for grandpa? Wow. I am never yelling that much again, guys. Oh, it hurts. But I think for a naturally progressing, mature human being, hitting that moment in your life and putting childish things aside and really, they don't tell you, you really go numb, right? Numb on everything. Like nothing really can touch you anymore. It's just like people running their mouths and nothing coming out, and then you're just sitting there like, ugh, get away from me. Like that's what I attribute it to. And I'm starting to think that maybe, if you didn't know, I had boomer parents. If anything, I think their generation was told that because they would refuse to grow up. They would refuse to take things seriously. Hello from Russia. Hi, Sasha. So they were constantly told, like, grow up, put childish things aside, because they would never take my dad, for example. He worked under the table for 30 years, right? 30 years. Because he didn't want to pay taxes. And look what happened. I don't have any social security, you and no one gotta take care of me, blah, 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 blah. And do not speak ill of the dead, Dustin. That's bad karma. Stop. Anyways. But this is the truth. This is the truth that a lot of us put blinders up for. A lot of us won't see the things that are actually real. We still have this image, this idea of who these people are. And I don't know if the shock is more from losing him or realizing he was never the man I thought he was. And that's very, very hard to take. Because then what is it? Does that invalidate my own self? Because this is one of the people that told me to fight to walk, to fight to have a normal life. You know, if you don't want to be in a wheelchair, if you don't want to be considered disabled, yeah, if you want to be looked at like a normal human being, you gotta fight. You gotta do the exercises, you gotta do the stretches, you gotta do all these things that put you in immense pain. And then beyond that, you gotta do it some more. And then to have everything turn out the way it turned out, to realize he wasn't that person. I don't know where he got it from, but he wasn't that person. That tapping out is just easier than fighting. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to let hang over your heart and your entire being. But then you start thinking about, does that invalidate me? Even though I've done all of these amazing things that no other human being on earth can claim to have ever done. I am the only person with grade 4 cerebral palsy that should be in a wheelchair, shouldn't be able to move, should have all of his limbs sucked up to his body because his tendons and his muscles are that tight. I shouldn't be here like this. So it's really a second guessing, to be honest. Like, am I still the person I think I am? Not I portray myself to be. I think I am. Because I've lived as this person for nearly 45 years. I don't know. I want the answer. I wish I had the answer. But I don't. And that's very unfortunate. But, yeah, that's the basis of this. Rest in peace, Tim. I am definitely going to be watching Legend all damn day today. Hello, darkness, my old friend.